We are back, Total Divas, episode number 2, which is crazy. I can't believe we did it. Like last week feels like a lifetime ago. But I'm not alone. Ronnie is in the building. What's good? How are you doing?
I mean, episode number 2, as a recap, TK and I have known each other for a long time. Good friends. We could talk that trash. But she knows this world. I know reality TV. So you're getting the hodgepodge of like the pro that she is, the expert that she is, and me saying, who? Nikki Bella, who? Which is disrespectful, but I don't mean it.
Right.
But
We're all learning.
I was very nervous last week because I was like, usually I lend my my expertise in broadcast to things I really know. But I think like the marketplace, like I'm on Twitch right now, you're on Twitch and everything. The marketplace sometimes likes you to see a fish out of water moment. So I guess it was my time.
I guess so. So let's get into it. So
what are we doing? We're rewatching season 1 of Total Bellas, which came out around 2013-14.
Total Divas.
Is there a show called Bellas?
There is a show called Total Bellas, but we are currently in Total Divas, season 1, episode 2 of Total Divas. That's what we're watching because we watched season 1, episode 1 of Total Divas last week. So yeah, there is a spinoff of Total Bellas. They have quite. I kind of feel like they could have a show today as well, but
what? I vow not to peek ahead because I'm the newbie in this, but I think I peeked ahead and I saw. You don't have to say yes or no. I saw that Ronda Rousey also joins this show at some point.
Oh, that's like we're far away from that.
Do you think we'll make it to that?
I don't know. We'll find out, y'all.
So far, so good. I'm having fun. So take it away, TK.
We'll see. We'll see. We are. Oh, whoops.
Broadway with body slams. In the Divas division.
I hope not. You won't make it. You'll be gone.
Damn.
And you won't.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is the end of episode.
The end of episode number 2, season 1 of the Total Divas. Yes.
The Tango with Fandango.
A lot of interesting stories, but that Fandango dance situation that Eva had was probably the most interesting thing going on.
It was, because you think about it, right? Like you heard that the old adage, fake it till you make it, right? And so maybe that's what she was going with, but it didn't, when you get, I think I saw something on Instagram where the guy was making cotton candy, and clearly like he didn't know what he was doing. And it's kind of like when you apply for a job and they actually hire you and this is what happens. So, I mean, I don't know. Has there been a time where it's like you faked it till you made it?
Okay, so as it relates to Eva Marie, I love the ambition aspect of it. It's like, I'm going to say yes to everything. But, and you asked me, what do I think about fake it till I make it? It's something I kind of had a hard time with. I know a lot of people do it and it does benefit them. I sometimes feel like my journey is a little bit longer because I literally don't ever like to put anyone in a situation like that. I feel like if we all just played our position, and I don't mean play our position like we sell ourselves short, but we all play our position in terms of this is what I would like to do. This is the intention. Baby, I'm going to get down and I'm going to win when the time comes based on my training. But when you straight up lie, and I know I'm playing the fence right here. I can see it. When you straight up lie, you cause this problem to everybody, to the marketplace. Like, there's a part of me that has compassion for Eva in this space because she overshot and it blew up in her face. Lesson learned. But I think if she doesn't get fired, of course, this is a rewatch series. We know where her journey went. But if she doesn't get fired, there's going to be people, even like Stephanie McMahon, who might have like sympathy for her go-getter attitude. And I just sometimes don't like the fake it till you make it when it ruins everyone else's shot. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely, being in radio, and there was a time where you would do the stuff in school, right? But the board. So for you guys who don't know much about radio, and I know you do, obviously, Ronnie, but for the boards, you have like these super old school boards, in school, and then you go to like your internships. And fortunately, one of my internships, they actually let me work the board, but it was an older radio station. It was actually the radio station owned by Stevie Wonder. But the
Okay,
boards that are in
I
the
know which one you're
iHearts
talking
of it
about.
all,
Yeah,
those things are like, yeah,
spaceships.
those are
Yeah.
like a whole different, right? So it's just kind of like when you're like, can you board up? That's the terminology. Like you would say, yeah, but then you're left with this board that if you don't know how to work, like you literally, like the radio station would get fined if you miss certain things, like all the things. So like, yeah, I could have there, like I agree, there was a time where I could have definitely said, yeah, I could do that. However, I'm not going to cost I forgot what the fine was for if you missed certain things, like if you missed commercial breaks and stuff like that, you're costing the station money. And kind of almost the same position that Eva was in with that Stephanie was kind of talking about. It was kind of one of those things where if you cost the station money, like you cost the money probably more than what they're paying you. So you got to go. So that's where the fake it till you make it doesn't work. I mean, I also too know people who have, and also that window too, when you graduate from university and you're trying to get into your job, it's always kind of a scenario because you want to get the experience, but how do you get the experience and all the things. So I think in that window, that's where the fake it till you make it, you have to make those decisions, because then eventually you kind of learn as you go along, and then you become an expert at certain things, and you could speak very you could speak to certain things because you have the experience, and therefore you're no longer a newbie in a lot of things. So it's a situation for her.
Well, I think that's why, and you'll see when we do these recaps, these rewatches, I usually don't play the fence. I'm usually very like, this is what it is, but I'm playing the fence in this case because there are two different sides. So I've had times like one of my dear colleagues, dear friends, a colleague of mine who runs his own business in the creative space also. He one time was like, Ronnie, the way you submit this resume to this company, like you're selling yourself short. And I was like, I don't really think so. Like, this is what I could do. Bop, 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 bop. And then there was another thing in the job description that maybe I didn't really fake it till I make it. And he had told me, he's like, you got to tell him you could do that too. And I'm like, well, that's not what I do. I mean, I probably could. He's like, no, you actually can. There's a difference between completely like what Eva did. She faked it
like,
and couldn't back up the situation, left the WWE for this Monday Night Raw and Stephanie McMahon in a terrible situation. And as long as you're not doing that, I think you're okay. So yeah, to be clear, that's why I see both sides of the coin, because if it's there we go. If it's my business, you could do fake it till you make it. But if you do fake it till you make it and it's under the randomly Ronnie Jr. business, like it's going to be, hell to pay.
It's so funny. I remember this story. So at one point I used to do beauty pageants a long time ago.
All right now.
And so I did this beauty pageant. I came in, I think like third place or something like that. But in that time they had us do the walks. And like, you know how you see, I forgot what movie it was, but you had the phone book on your, or not the phone book, like the like those
a league of their own. They had the it's some type of training. It's called not elegance. I know what you're talking about. A League of Their Own. They wore the book with Gina Davis and Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah.
So you have like the big textbooks, and they had us in the heels in the big textbooks walking in circles. But in that gym or in that venue, they had this ad for a job in Mexico that you can work in one of the resorts. And so one of the jobs was a dancer. And so I had taken ballet for the better part of like 10 plus years. And so there's a difference from doing ballroom dancing to ballet. And so technically it's like, yeah, I can dance. So I got there, and thankfully also at the time I was also personal training. So long story short, I got there and they wanted me to dance for in almost like a off Broadway thing at this resort, and it didn't work out. And so they're like, we think you should personal train. So that whole dancing thing just brought me back to that one story. because the director, like he kind of gave me that look that Nikki gives Brie, like, bitch, why are you here? So yeah.
Well, and another thing that made it sympathetic, maybe to even what you went through, or we've all had these situations, but Eva, sometimes the journey is what you want to succeed so bad, you make these errors and don't even realize you got in too deep. So there's that part that I'm like, dang, all she wants to do is succeed, and she wants to get this opportunity. Like I said, that fiance, which we didn't know there was a fiance,
That part.
He's probably encouraging. He's probably like, babe, do it all, and so sometimes you can't fault her for that. So there's definitely a support factor. What wasn't supported on this episode, and I'm saying it, TK, so far, because again, you've watched the series the first time, I'm watching it for the first time as a rewatch series, and who knows where the show will go, but Trinity at this moment is my confessional queen. She's just so fun to watch. And speaking of not being supported, the garment was not supporting her body.
Yeah. Yeah, the gear was not gearing for her. Yeah, it's, and on top of that too, because so my dad used to be a tailor, so I'm very familiar with like fabric and stuff like that. And you want, especially if you're going to do a lot of different movement, it's like one thing if it's like a swimsuit or something like that, but it's something where you're going to be doing a lot of movement in front of a crowd of people. It's going to be on television. It's one of those things that you want stuff to stay in place. Like when I used to run track, like that stuff, that joint was all in the cheeks. You know what I'm saying? Because the fabric was okay, but it was just a general uniform for everybody, and everybody had different body types. So in this scenario, when you have a seamstress on deck, that's where making stuff to certain body types, even though you're in the same team, makes sense, because the last thing you want is a Janet Jackson situation or a Cheek situation on television. Yeah, but I love Trin. She's absolutely like amazing. Like said, like just wears her heart on her sleeve. Her and Ariane is just like, Ariane on the show is like that in person, real life.
Well, Ariane was amazing too, because she was really the situation. The situation was created by her. Yes. And even Sandra or Sandra?
Sandra. Well, Sandra.
Miss Sandra tried to like be like, like sort of like, you better apologize. I mean, like she kind of took her to task. But Ariana is so cute. Like she's just, I'm sorry. Like, even though she's kind of a little bit more on the selfish side, because it is all about her, you got to be compassionate of your teammate, and if your teammate's body is different, you have to win collectively. It can't be like, well, I need to look like this, and then your teammate being hung out to dry. Otherwise, it's not going to work for the both of us.
Right.
But she's still so cute.
Oh my God, they're both amazing.
She feels like I'd want to hang out with her. Like just like like a evening sundown cocktail. She'd be like the greatest storyteller. That's what I'm getting with her. Yeah.
Yes, you are absolutely right.
And rounding it out, the Bellas. I think we mentioned this while we were doing the rewatch. Like, I think it is interesting when you are compassionate towards your siblings, specifically their twins. It's probably even more deep, of like, well, my sibling is with, with this man, and they're going to go live here. Like, but is she selling herself short? Like, I think it's a hard thing. And it made it fun to watch it in terms of reality TV, because I don't think that's far off the mark. How we always go up for the people in our family. We're like, we want you to be happy, but is this really going to make you happy in the long run?
Yeah, you want the best. You want the best for them, but then, I had to learn that, and I'm really good at it now. But there were times where it's like, yo, you what you're doing right now is not great, and I'm going to bully you into making the right decision. And now it's just kind of like, it's human nature. Look, if you want to do that, then you do you. And then, if you're wrong, you are more than welcome to come back. If you're not, like, I will gladly apologize. So it's kind of one of those things that the maturity of it all. But yeah, it's siblings are, and I had to do that with my brother. Like, I just had to, like, because at the end of the day, we're both adults, but he's still my little brother. So it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, you know what? Like, I have to keep reminding myself that, like, okay, you are an adult. You are literally a married man with 4 kids. Like, there's really nothing more I can say. I have not taught you any lessons. Like, he's doing well, but like we were 5 years apart, so we were always in different stages of our lives, and also the fact that he was a boy and I'm a girl, all this stuff. So, but now it's just one of those things where I just, like, almost like the let go, let God. Look, you just do you.
That's true.
Call me Timmy, but like I'm staying out of it. So
you were so right. It's the let go, because it's a little bit of a push and pull, because on one hand, and this could be for your siblings, it could be for your friends. We oftentimes see our friends with somebody and we're like, ooh, does that make you happy for real? But the push and pull is, you don't want to be so closed mouthed and not say anything, where when if it doesn't work out, they come back and they're like, oh, wow, you had all these opinions. You should have said them. So, I would have been a little smarter, because, love does take you, on all these crazy journeys. But the push pull is that you don't want to do it too much, where you got to let them live, and you got to let them hit their head and, go through their roadblocks. You just have to. And like you said, receive them if and when they need to kind of come back. So in terms of reality TV, we were wondering if some of the stuff was staged. I mean, it was just fun. I don't know if that would be called staged. I'd more so be like, okay. Yeah, it was more like, we're out in a rural area. We're going to like showcase, what's the boyfriend's name? Is it boyfriend or husband?
Where we're talking about Bree and Nikki.
Yeah. Bree's,
yeah, they're both, at that time, they're both boyfriends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, where I think it was just a way to enhance like just the difference between, the lifestyle that they grew up in. So they're like, oh, let's go have them chop wood, and then you could see him in his flip-flops, and then there's all these innuendos of wood, and it was fun to watch. You need those moments in reality, but yeah, it was cool.
It was cool. And with that being said, it's cool to be able to say goodbye. So where could everybody where could everybody find you, Ronnie?
Okay, if you like me yipping and yapping, it's randomlyronniejr.com. Of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com, and then do the keyword search randomly Ronnie Jr. If you want to make it rain, you can make it rain on my Patreon, and that is also randomly Ronnie Jr. And I'll be here with TK every single week going through Total Divas. Yeah.
If you make it rain. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Make sure you check out our social media at www.talkpod. Check out our website, www.talkpod.com.